Oops. What's up, y'all? Jim here, Get Better with Books. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're gonna be talking about 5 simple tips to help you start reading more books and to build a better reading habit starting today. So back in 2012, when I first started reading these self-help and personal development type books, I honestly thought it was gonna be a piece of cake. Like, I had just finished reading my first great self-help book. It was Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People. And I was all jacked up. I was like, hell yeah, reading, gonna be reading books every single day, big brain club. But after about a year, I had only finished a handful of books. I was struggling to stay focused. I wasn't finishing any of the things that I was reading. And honestly, I was just getting bored with the books that I was trying to read. And it really wasn't until 2014, almost 2 full years after I started reading these self-help and personal development type books, that I noticed a change in my attitude, my whole demeanor, and the way that I approached reading these self-help type books. And with a few tiny tweaks, I went from reading just a handful of books per year to reading more than 2 or 3 books a month. So in this video, I'm gonna share the 5 simple tips that helped me build a stronger reading habit. And by the end of this video, hopefully you'll learn a few simple tricks to help you build a stronger reading habit and to start reaping the benefits that a reading habit provides. So make sure you stick around to the end of this video. And before we get started, it's worth noting that there's already a ton of great resources available on the internet today when it comes to building a strong reading habit. So this is by no means meant to be an exhaustive list. These are the tips that helped me build a reading habit, but I understand everyone's different, so feel free to pick and choose any of these tips as you see fit. So the first tip on this list is to start reading topics or genres that you're already interested in. So I gotta admit something, and this is probably going to get me ostracized in the greater reading community out there online, but I was just never really interested in the Harry Potter and the Lord of the Rings or that whole fantasy genre as a whole. Instead, I really gravitated more towards the self-help, the business books, the personal finance type reads. So when you are just starting to build a reading habit, it's super important to just focus on the topics that you already gravitate towards. And there's 2 main reasons for this. Number 1 is that consistency is critical. The more consistent that you read, the better chance that you have at actually developing a strong habit. And I think the statistic that's floating around the internet these days is that it takes upwards of 66 days to take a habit and to turn it into something that's automated. And it's so much easier to be consistent with reading something that you're already interested in. And the number 2 reason, in a similar vein, is that if you're forcing yourself to read things that you're just not interested in, it's gonna be so much easier for you to give up on it. And this isn't to say that you shouldn't read topics that are outside of your immediate interest, but if your goal is to building reading habit, momentum is the most important thing. So it doesn't really matter what you read as long as you're reading consistently. And just like Naval Ravikant says, read what you love until you love to read. And the second tip on this list is to set a daily reading goal, especially one that's easy to hit. So let's just say one of your New Year's resolutions is that you want to be more fit and you want to start going to the gym. And if you've never lifted a weight in your life and you go out there and you set a goal to hit the gym 5 days a week, it's not going to take long for you to burn out, to get discouraged, and eventually give up on your goal. And the same thing goes for building a reading habit. If the last time that you picked up a book was a senior year in college and all of a sudden you want to start reading a book a week, the same thing. You're probably not going to hit that goal. You're going to get discouraged and you're just going to give up on it. So the key here is setting a simple goal that you can hit day in and day out. Something like 10 pages a day or read for 15 minutes every morning. This not only takes the pressure off of reading some arbitrary number of books, but it also gives you a sense of accomplishment that you can hit these goals day in and day out. And the best thing is if you're already reading something that you're enjoying, hitting that 10-page limit or reading for 15 minutes, it's going to be super easy and most likely you're going to overachieve on that goal. And by consistently hitting these daily goals, it's going to be a no-brainer that you're going to be able to finish at least 1 book per month, if not more. But more importantly, you're going to be in the process of developing a system for you to continue this reading habit. And just like James Clear says in his fantastic book, Atomic Habits, goals are good for setting a direction, but systems are best for making progress. So question for you folks at home, why are you trying to build a reading habit in the first place? Like, why is reading important for you? Comment your answer down below, and I'm actually going to be picking the 2 best comments that I see over the course of this week, and the 2 winners will each get a $25 Amazon gift card, so you can go buy some new books, you can buy some markers, you can buy some toothpaste, whatever you want, 25 bucks for the 2 best comments that I see. So make sure you answer something good. Okay, so back to this list. Tips number 3 and 4, they're kind of similar, so I'm gonna bundle them together. And they are, number 3, put reading time on your calendar Number 4, make sure you try to limit your distractions while you're reading. In Cal Newport's fantastic book, Deep Work, he says, clarity about what matters provides clarity about what does not. And just like anything else in life, if you prioritize something, it's a no-brainer, you're going to see that improve. So recently I just started using Cal Newport's time block planner to optimize my time and my productivity. Between my full-time job and making content for Get Better with Books and a young family at home, time is of the essence here and I don't have a lot of it. So just like I block off time in my calendar to create videos, or if I have important meetings at work or to hit the gym, I make sure that I dedicate a little amount of time every single day to my reading. And not only does this provide some much needed me time during my busy days, but it helps me prioritize the things that I'm actively trying to learn. And by blocking this off during my day, it makes it very clear that this is a priority to me. And I get it, listen, every day is different. There are some days where it's just absolutely nuts. You don't have time to dedicate towards your self-development type activities. And that's why it's also important to establish a bookend reading habit, which is read a little bit in the morning and also read a little bit at nighttime. And for some people, reading in the morning is the best time to read. It tends to be a little bit more quiet. You can read with your morning cup of coffee, but it's also a great way to prime your brain for the rest of the day. For me personally, I like to read before I go to bed because it forces me to get rid of the devices while I'm sitting in bed, but it's an easy way for me to drift off into sleep. But regardless of when you actually read, I think it's just as important to make sure that you're giving yourself every opportunity to absorb as much of the content as possible, which is why it's so important to limit your distractions while you're reading. And this isn't anything groundbreaking, but if you are constantly multitasking while you're trying to learn something new, whether you're scrolling through your Instagram feed, checking out Get Better with Books, or if you've got Netflix on in the background, obviously you're not going to be able to absorb and retain the information as if you were 100% focused on the content. So if you're actually dedicating the time to read, give yourself a fighting chance and make sure that you're limiting the distractions. And whether that be just closing your laptop, turn the TV off, put your phone on airplane mode, or put on some noise canceling headphones. Limiting distractions is the easiest way for you to get the most out of your time spent reading, but it's also a great way to ensure that you're gonna have a positive experience when you're learning something new to make sure that you actually come back and do it again. And last but not least, the number 5 tip on this list to help you build a stronger reading habit is to stop reading books you don't like. So how many of you have started reading a book and you're halfway through it only to realize that you don't really like it? Whether it's the author's writing style or the contents of the book are just straight up boring, you find yourself struggling to finish each and every chapter. But for some weird reason, you have convinced yourself that you will finish reading this book regardless of how long it takes. So here's a little bit of advice for you. Next time you start reading a book that you just don't like, put it down and start something new. And this doesn't mean that you have to literally throw the book away, but listen, we are under no obligation to finish every single book that we start. When I started implementing this into my personal life, I found myself reading twice as many books. And it's simply because I was spending more time reading the books that I was actually enjoying reading and less time forcing myself to finish books that I just didn't resonate with. And at the end of the day, your time is the most precious commodity, so make sure you are using it wisely, reading the stuff that you actually enjoy. So that's all I got for you folks. Thank you for watching this video. Hopefully you got a couple tips on how to build a stronger reading habit. If you like this video, do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to my channel. Go check me out on Instagram at Get Better with Books for more of that visual book content. I appreciate you watching this video. This is Jim with Get Better with Books signing out. I will see y'all in the next video. Peace.